This is Jerry Galkey, top producer, marketing columnist, market strategy columnist, and president of Strategic Marketing Services. With today's comment on the crop report, we kind of expected a friendly report. You know, you think about it, and what reason would the USDA have for coming out a couple months early and predicting the next year's crop size and supply and demand, other than it would be bullish. So it would give us time, the market time, to react to entice us to continue to be in the field and plant. So, and that they did, and they did it on both counts. They came out early, and it was a super bullish report in my mind this early in the year. They lowered the corn acres, 1 million acres, and the harvested acres, and reduced the yield, which makes total sense because of the weather, and we're losing yield potential each day. So odds are that that crop yield will continue to be reduced down to maybe last year's yield. When you look at the whole situation, can we do any better than we did last year? It's kind of doubtful, except for Iowa and Nebraska, and they've got to do a lot better because Illinois and Indiana, Ohio will do less unless we have a perfect summer, and the market's job is to try to put in some weather premium for that. And so with that lowered the carryout for next year, on top of what they did this year, lowering the carryout going into next year by 100 million bushels. So that gave us a little less than 1 million acres of crop production that we wouldn't have going in. And plus, they raised the exports for next year in corn. So the bottom line is that we lower the carryout significantly for next year, down to about a 1.1 billion bushels, which does not leave any room really for any error. So in other words, if you drop the U.S. yield by 2 or 3 more bushels due to weather, you're going to be under 1 billion bushels, and who knows where that goes. Fortunately for end users, we had a recession and we cut back on some usage. Otherwise, the crop prices would be a lot higher. We would, if we hadn't lost the 600 million bushel drop that we had this last year in usage, you can just imagine what the price of grain would be. So here we are trying to get the crop planted. It's wet, going to be wetter next week, and the market's job will be to try to entice us to continue to plant corn on into the end of May and into June, to try to get the lower and lower maturities, to continue to plant corn, to get some kind of assurance back and to prove the government wrong that we will indeed continue to plant. Mother Nature may have more to say about that than anything. In the soybeans, they lowered the carryout this year, 35 million, I believe, about as expected, because China is has been buying a lot. The rest of the people in the world have not been coming to the trough to buy their needs short of what we had planned for them to buy. In other words, they reduced their consumption of soybeans this year due to the economic situation, while China increased theirs. So that carryout next year then, on top of the government lowering the planted acres. One would think it would be higher, but they lowered the planted acres from their earlier report by 1 million acres, which then takes us all the way down to about 220 million carryover in that area. It's a far cry from the informer's ideas about a couple of months ago of 7 to 900 million. So it's pretty significant. And the wheat, they also showed that as being improving in the carryout by 25 million this year. They carried it in the next year. We have wheat left over, and we're going to have to use it to feed it. That's probably the only consolation that end users have, is that they'll likely have to mix some wheat into the ration. So by the time we get done with the whole year, this could be very exciting come next spring again, and for all commodities. For now, the job of the market is to continue to entice us to stay in the field, to continue to plant lower maturities. Beans needed 2 million acres. Now they're 3 million short. Given that 1 million that the government says won't get planted. So we're going to have to find prices high enough to entice us to bring back into production some of that CRP that got taken out last year, and every available acre right on into the end of June. I suspect is that we will do that in soybeans. The key will be to listen to your seed corn dealer and find out if he's getting switching from corn to beans, or corn to earlier maturing corn right on into the end of May. That's anybody's guess whether that's going to happen. And certainly in the areas that are already done planting, they're probably not planting any more corn. But if the price of grain continues to go up, then they may go back out there and plant more again, just because Illinois isn't. So very interesting report. the other thing you have to add to this is what's happening to the global economy. And the government in their report today kind of hinted to the fact by increasing demand a little bit that maybe we bottomed out. So now you plug in all this money that we've spent to trillions worldwide, and if we do increase money in people's hands to eat better and buy more, then you've got a bullish commodity market that will bring back the speculator and some of this other money. So this is a very interesting situation. We're studying as an advisory group with very little sold. We are 100% covered in meal and oil, or meal and corn for end users through 2009. Probably should have bought some for 2010, but I think the market's job now will be to curb demand some more so that we don't run out. That's going to put more pressure on dairy, on hogs, and on cattle. Looking further out, in another year from now, you've got to say cattle prices could be a lot higher than they are now because we're going to it's the short run that's going to bleed everybody, and we'll see just how long the banks stay with the livestock and the hog guys. So not much more you can say about the report except it's got to be a big surprise to a lot of people. We're going to just hang back where we are. We have very little sold. Nothing sold for 2009 in corn and beans at all, and quite a bit of last year's crop repurchased and along that market as well. So we'll see how it ends today. Of course, the market's going to analyze all this stuff. Oftentimes, it's how we close after a report like this that's more important than the report itself. So we'll get a pretty good idea as to how much of this bean market has already been discounted, the tight bean stocks, but I doubt that it's anywhere near what came out today. So weather will be important. 180-degree change in weather suddenly overnight, and clearing up for 10 days of open weather would change things a lot. But right now it looks like rain through next week every other day and every other couple of days, and it's very difficult to get the crop finished even in northern Illinois where I'm at. We're just running around trying to find a dry spot. So the biggest hang-up is we got nitrogen applied, and we can't continue to plant corn. So hopefully northern Illinois will do a lot of planting today before the rains come tonight. That's it for this report. We'll look forward to the next